everyone. Today I'll be presenting the paper titled Causality-Inspired Spatial-Temporal Explanations for Dynamic Gravity Calculus. Let's look at the paper titled. They are dealing with dynamic GNNs, which offer simpler power by subtle growth. And by that we mean the interpreted band and spatial. So you want to have which subgraphs are more important and which types are more important. Dynamic abilities. It doesn't. So there are existing methods, papers that deal with this, of course, but a lot of them just use static graphs. They don't look at spatial temporal conditions in the dynamic graphs. And we will start with the terms that one of them is the challenge of separating causal patterns from different patterns. They establish two criteria to meet in their model. The first one is fidelity, which is going to be trying to mimic the target model's behavior. By target model, they just mean the dynamic GNN. The proposed model is the explainer, dynamic GNN explainer. And the second criteria is interpretability, the ability of humans to gain insight from the paper, from the results. And their approach leverages causality of descent angle. Two types of relationships we will look at them in the coming slides. To disentangle trivial from causal and static and dynamic information, they came up with the idea of constructing what they call a structural causal model. And after they disentangle, they expect to get spatial temporal explanations by using software. So in the top right, we see the structural causal model that they mentioned. I put it there because it's closely to the overall time. How they will start is we have the input graph, and using a graph autoencoder, they extract the relationships that we just looked at, the trivial, causal, and dynamic static relationships. They extract the trivial and causal and map them as a adjacency matrix. And they do this for each type of course, so the adjacency matrices, and then for dynamic, same idea is applied. We first try the set trivial using a loss function that's called contrastive loss. And the result of that will have still a closed length. Yeah, so it will have still static and dynamic information. From that, dynamic is more important, So they try to marginalize the static part and with the dynamic function. And at the end of all of that, they will be able to represent the origin of graph in a simpler way that gives us more information about the dynamic part, and they can select the prediction. Now we will zoom in on the structural causal. So in the structural causal model, we first look at let's first look at just the leftmost side. We have input graph, and our aim is to get the y, the prediction. And they want to represent the graph in a way from which they can just extract the predictions. That's represented by the from G to R. There are, of course, all kinds of details that we can find in the graph. On one side, on the top side, we have all the trivial information, like your noise. First, we want to get rid of that. Whatever is not important, we want to marginalize it and just move on to the causal. Within the causal part, we have the dynamic and the static. Out of those two, we just want to be left with the dynamic. And if we are able to do that, then we can get to the representation and make our predictions. Yeah, here I also summarize what I just said, basically on the right side. The most important part will be separating T from C. And how do we marginalize T and the static? That's going to be with what they call a backdoor. These are going to be related to backdoor paths. We are going to simplify those backdoor paths with what they call backdoor adjustment. So here, we are basically trying to achieve the leftmost expression. We want to set some values for the dynamic information and directly from that get the prediction. But if we look at the model here, we have all the details that we just talked about. So first, at the rightmost side, we marginalize the trivial information. When we do that, we are left with just P of y given to C. That's how we get the expression. And from that, we marginalize out the static part to finally reach our desired boundary. Okay, so do calculus is basically when you set a value or set of values to, for example, we're doing dynamic information. So we want to just give whatever we want to dynamic and get to one, right? That's what we want. That's basically a representation of that, but it's specifically designed for, I don't know if that's completely right. It's most commonly used for causal dynamic systems like this one. So this do calculus is basically, from my understanding, just setting some values to T, the dynamic part, and the leftmost and C, the causal part in the expression. S is static. So we said we will disentangle two two pairs of meshes, I should say. The first pair is trivial and causal. For that, they use what they call contrasted learning, which will help us increase the semantic similarity between the causal and the original graph. While doing that, we also want to keep the causal separate from the trivial relationships. Achieving those at the same time is not a simple task, so they came up with their own. Yeah, here, for example, they say noise, but trivial is what they get. They treat it like noise, basically. So we want to separate the noise. And if we are done with separating the noise, we are left with the causal part. Causal has the static and dynamic parts of itself. Now we want to get rid of the static part, or get rid of is the wrong term. I think we want to marginalize it out. We want to just account for it. That's the better way to put it. Because static is easier to represent as well. We want to focus on dynamic. Just marginalize the static out and focus on dynamic. How they do this is they first capture the temporal evolution by linking neighboring subgraphs. So that's a different way of saying they are looking at all the time points of subgraphs that are neighboring each other. And after that, if this temporal evolution is captured correctly, then they will be able to differentiate between dynamic and static and marginalize out the static factors easily. And at the end, we will be left with the spatial temporal. We will be left with the enhanced spatial temporal granularity in explanations. At the beginning of the pipeline, we saw the variation of graph-encoder-based framework. The encoder part of it is the most time-consuming component in the whole pipeline. And what the encoder does is basically the magic calculates we saw. It's gonna take everything from your input graph and represent them in a different way. And then there's the decoder, which is made for genetic softness. Yeah, through these tests, we will be able to reveal important subgraph structures and provide spatial estimations and offer temporal insights. So the spatial temporal part of the paper is again here. There are 4 loss functions that they use to achieve the disentanglement processes that we talked about. These are contrastive loss for disentangling trivial from the causal features. And there's dynamic loss to capture temporal evolution and force independence. There is a prediction loss. This is for the fidelity criteria, and sparse loss is for the interpretability criteria. And then thereby joint optimization to balance the prediction performance, the explanation. The data sets they use include real-world data sets and static data sets. In the next slide, we'll see that they will get them. So here they have 6 data sets. 2 of them are real world data. I marked them red, rising for user explanation. Elliptic is a Bitcoin transaction data set where each edge is basically about transfer Bitcoin from one point to another. And meme tracker is a data set with 3.3 million news articles, blogs, where an edge is found if from one article we can link to another article. And using these data sets, they perform the vertex classification task and the graph classification task. For the first floor, vertex classification, the last floor, graph classification. And in all of them, they show that they achieved statistically significant. And we take a close look at one of those tasks. This is the graph vertex classification task. Let's, for example, get the leftmost graph. The y-axis shows us the accuracy. The red circles are the proposed model. Blue triangles are for the computer called computers. And as you can see, in the number of age range of 5 to 9, the proposed model outperformed the computer model. All of the cases here. The same deal in the second graph data set. They also show their model without the contrasted loss, for example, the blue one, the first one, without the dynamic loss and without the autoencode, which shows us that the contrasted loss may be the most crucial component of this whole pipeline. Here again, we are looking at the prediction accuracy for the vertex classification. So this is the graph classification source. Okay. Mean trackers for graph classification. So data. Okay. This is for the vertex classification. Yeah. This last one is for the graph classification. They show a specific case where the proposed model correctly predicted the graph, where the computing model complicates predicted an edge that doesn't exist in correct prediction. So what's going on here is in the first row, we see the original graph, and if you look at like t equals 5, but in the second row, that's the proposed model's prediction of the graph. And on the bottom right, we see the prediction from the computer, where they miss an edge in the house structure, but they predicted an edge where the edge doesn't contribute to the house structure. That's it for me. If you have questions. Separate the one. These are okay. So how this works is for so this is and to go back to show you. This is directly related to this. First, you are trying to develop the review if you get the version. What you do first is the right. So trigger is the biggest thing that's irrelevant to what we want. So they use the contrastive force to determine which parts of the graph are trivial, and then to use. The original causes always separate. Good question. They, from what I understand, they separated based on the loss functions, function results. That's so I didn't dive into the maths of this too much. I thought it could be too much. It's supposed to start. So the real and causal is separated from the contrastive. And now we got to look at the but inside causal, we still do the dynamics. For that, they use a dynamic. After the okay, we have the dynamic part in our hands, what to do with it. We make our prediction, but we already have a dynamic GNN. What we are trying to do is basically create an explainer that can ideally improve on that. And apparently the results, it wasn't just margin, statistically.
Scarcity loss. How would you determine what is a key graph constant?
Question. So the contrastive loss step, they are already determining what's trivial and what's causal. From that, I think here what they meant by key graph was correlated with it's going to be left at the end of the paper because the main thing that we are trying to capture is the dynamic graph or the dynamic subgraphs after the trivial and static. That's going to be key graph from now I would be thinking, okay, so does that mean the static parts of the graph are not important at all? I don't think that would be good, but they keep saying the margin for the study and they show mathematical explanation of it. So I think they are trying to simplify their expressions such that they can represent the static part as ideally just a constant or just a vector in a matrix, for example. So that helps to really see dimensionality and the time complexity, space complexity. So the key there, I think, I would say it shouldn't have noise. It's gonna be something. If we were to make a polynomial, for example, if this were for simplicity, it would be some dynamic way or whatever, plus the constant time coming from the study. So they are trying to reach a simple expression like that, which won't quickly go. Yeah, but
I do not quite understand at all what they're doing. So they assume that there is a graph of which a time series is generated, and then they try to estimate this time series or the graph from the time series.
yeah,
So doing this by training fictional Gaussian distribution, and then from Gaussian distribution you can get with sparsity, you get Gaussian graphical model, but it will not be directed. How do they turn it into directed? Because Gaussian graphical model is symmetric, or like what they exactly estimate graph. Like I'm thinking,
so in this data set, they already mentioned like there is an edge. For example, in the interactive data set, there is an edge. There is a link from one article to the other.
oh, so the graph is already there. So they don't notice.
The input graph, of course, they don't input is there.
No, but like this causality structure, CM additional, you know.
Oh,
So they're assuming it's given. So
there wasn't from the input to the just that spatial causality model. I don't remember exactly.
So the input to their method is the graph, voxel graph, and the data from what's on that generate.
The input will be, the nodes will be horizontal the articles. There's a link from
Yeah, so they're giving a graph and they're giving features of the nodes, not time series. Just features, like an article is a feature.
At every time point they are looking at the graphical codes. So for an edge, it won't be just 1 or 0. Right? For every edge, they basically create ones a vector of ones and zeros.
But what do you mean? Because I have an article.
Let's say we have 10 time points. In 6 of them, there is an edge from one article to another. In 4 of them, there isn't. Then for that edge.
Again, that doesn't work for the article example. Once I wrote an article, I already cite the other articles. You look at it tomorrow, and it's the same articles I cite. I did not.
Okay, put this way. Maybe I'll get something like Wikipedia. Then Wikipedia can get edited constantly. This can get broken. Many things can happen.
Okay. So in this case, that it's not.
Yeah, it's not every article will stay as it is forever without being edited. Maybe they don't talk about that, they just say this is a I think that's one way.
Yeah. I just can't reconcile what's going on, why it would be changing.
Look, like it was simple. Like I wrote an article today. I forgot to give you a shout out. Then I remembered tomorrow, and I edit the article, and now I inserted. They go to colors page for the same. So now, in 24 hours, the graph changed. One edge that didn't exist now exists.
This maybe
Yeah, it's maybe, but maybe my article and your article are in the same field, and it's important for that field for our whether or not I link to you may be important. That's going to depend on their subject.
publish articles.
Anyway, yeah, maybe they could have chosen a better data set. I don't know. Yeah, because it's kind of rare for an article to just be deleted and corrected, unless it's something like that. Something that is expected to be updated to the discovery of new knowledge or improvements in subjects. Or if it's not something like that, then once somebody links to another article, then the expectation would be that link will be there forever.
Yes, that's what I assume. So but it's interesting that they're assuming some graph that is A known, B is changing, and also known. Every change is visible. But then what they're talking about is kind of weird. They're doing given the graph and the word, like the features of each article or each node, which are also changing.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Like structural causality, how did they first create that?
Yeah, well, structural causal model is about dynamical systems. It's
Yeah, I mean, how do they know? They don't mention. I guess that maybe because it's not their report. I'm not sure.
yeah. They're assuming that they know
Yeah.
the group, as you said, they know the graph, and then they have some features on the nodes, which is weird, like vector. It has to be vector. And then they're saying what exactly are those features, like which nodes to ignore when making prediction about one graph or another. Is that their contribution?
Which nodes to ignore, that's part of it. Yes, that's kind of so some subgraphs in the graphs will be classified as trivial. But their contribution comes from after what to do with that trivial part. The discovery of the how to account for.
Yeah, like I think what's unclear from this presentation is that okay, here's the problem set, here's what they're trying to do, here's how it's structured, and then that needs that part because through calculus and things like that, and you don't need anything for that. You just need the graph. This graph can figure out the relationship. After you can work on isolated subgraphs or something like that.
Yeah, I think if we could somehow visualize better what the representation is looking like at the end, like just before the prediction. Um, I'm a little bit confused about it.
Yeah. So they do node classification. Okay. The graphs. Their graphs, okay, with the links, hyperlinks, repeated there, direct. Yeah. Interesting. Any other questions online or questions here? Well, I have a question on why did you choose that way? DJ doesn't have a question. Why did you what prompted like what's what you thought about?
It's closer to what I'm working on. Yeah, it's something like the first with what I'm working on. Because we are trying to further marginalize out some edges and diversities and represent the group.
Mhm.
That's something similar to what they are doing.
Yeah, still having trouble.
I can give it a better reading.
No, yeah, that's fine. You tried. Done a good job for the paper is a little complicated, right?
It is in the field that I'm working on right now. So it was the
I also like the analogies.
Mhm.
I also like the analogies.
Okay. I think we're done then. Thank you, and I'll see you next week. I'm trying to plot the calendar. Okay, there was no speaker and DeepSeek R1. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. Introvert or DeepSeek. Whisper.